Well, it's good to see you again, virtually. It's Friday, May 8th, and I wanted to give you a quick update. Been a busy week trying to sort of deal with things as we're working toward opening things back up. As I would remind you, the session when they met looked at all of this and really set some parameters for that. We need to look at what's allowable, and certainly the governor has opened up the process of being able to get people back to work in a lot of different fashions, and that's certainly true for church. But we have to look at not only what is allowable, but really what are we able to do, and then beyond that, what is really advisable. So this last week, all the different councils that oversee the ministries at Wynwood have been meeting and talking and sort of trying to evaluate things. So that's worship and arts and kids ministry and youth and adult discipleship and property and just all kind of looking again at how are we going to move forward on this. And we don't have any hard deadlines set yet for any of this, but in general, what we're looking at in terms of being able to have people coming back to worship live and to other meetings, we're probably looking at the beginning of June for that. Just to give you sort of a heads up. Again, that will depend on a lot of the things that happen during the month of May, and see how things going with opening the state back up. The TAPS, our preschool ministry, is looking at opening up again in June, and so we have a little time to continue to prepare the building and all those processes. Same thing for worship. We're looking at, there are a lot of other things that have to be done for larger numbers. So we're aiming at this point, talking about beginning of June, depending on how things go during the month of May, and if there are any other new directives that come. But over the next few weeks, just want to encourage you to keep checking. Feel free to call. We are going to be having some regular office hours next week. The preschool is going to be having their leadership team coming in, and so we're going to be opening up sort of as we shut down gradually. We're going to be opening up again gradually for some of those things. So it really kind of depends on what ministry, but keep in touch on that. But I think in general for kids ministry and youth ministry and adult ministry and worship and arts, in terms of any of those larger numbers, we're looking at really more into June. One of the things that we want to really make clear is that again, this is not just what's allowable, but what are we able to do, what's advisable, and in looking at all of those things, one of the considerations is really how can we stay focused on ministry and not on the distraction of a lot of the other things that we're probably going to have to do even as we move back into doing more things face-to-face and in larger numbers. Because there are some things we could maybe try that at the end of the day would be more distracting than they would be helpful. We certainly, I think, have learned through this. There's a lot of ministry that can be done even within the limitations that we have. And so as we start moving past those, going to be trying to do that a little bit of one step at a time. So please be patient. I want to assure you this is not really out of fear. We recognize that anything we do involves a certain amount of risk. Risk is an essential part of faith. But that being said, we want to continue to do ministry, and in many respects, we don't want to try to do something to be offering something where the restrictions are so distracting. From the very beginning, I think one of the emphases that we've needed to have is what we've been saying from the beginning of the year. with regard to worship in particular, it's not worship at Wynwood, because Wynwood is not the building, it's the people. It's Wynwood at worship. And we have been doing that pretty effectively within those restrictions. And as we move out of that and starting to mix some of those things with some people here and some people still watching it online, that's just some of the different ways in which we have the opportunity to do the ministry and be the church that God has called us to be. So hang in there, or we will be announcing some more of those dates when we have determined, get all the things in place for that. May entail a check-in system, or to be able to come back to some things. We need to let us know in advance so that we make sure that we have facilities that are ready with whatever those other things that go along with that entail, whether it's cleaning or social distancing or masks or whatever that is. So as those more specific plans are developed, we'll let you know. But wanted to overall let you know, in terms of Sunday morning worship, we're going to be looking more at the beginning of June and seeing what develops during this month in May, as we have opened more things up in the state and see what the development of the spread of the virus is all about, and what we need to do to be able to be safe, but also to continue to do ministry. So I want to encourage you, keep praying about this, and keep being creative, and keep a positive attitude, because God is going to get us through all of this, and He's with us even in the midst of it. So I hope you have a happy Mother's Day this Sunday, and join us virtually online for Mother's Day, and continue to celebrate the blessings that God has given to us. And let's keep, again, doing that ministry even within restrictions. God bless.